choose a destination and then borrow a map. Choose a destination and borrow a map. Here's what I mean by that, and this is kind of tricky. In every season of life is a new season that requires a different set of skills. Not Liam Neeson kind of skills, different kind of skills. Okay, each season of life is a new season that requires a different set of skills. And here's what I mean by that. In high school, if you're a high school guy, certain set of skills. You had three options. You could be smart, you could be an athlete, or you could play the guitar. But you had to have one of those three skill levels, right? If you're a high school guy. In college, different set of skills. Single, new job, post-grad, different set of skills. Every season of life, it requires a little bit of different set of skills in order to be successful. Single, dating, married with kids, maybe single again, dating again, And the thing is, it's true of all of us, every time we move into a new season, we've never been there before, which means we really don't know what we're doing. And by the time we figured it out, we've moved into another season of life. And the problem is the mistakes we make in one season, we take into the next season. We all know this. So what I mean by this rule for the road is simply this. Determine right now in this season, determine what you want your life to look like in this season. Determine what you want your life to look like in this season. And then here's the trick. Find someone who is a little bit further ahead that has successfully navigated this season and ask them for their map. In other words, how did you get from where I am now to where you are now? Because I want to end up to some degree, I don't want to marry your wife or anything, but I'm just saying I want to get to that season of life successfully. And you navigated college, you navigated graduate school, you navigated new to a city, single for 8, 9, 10, however many years. You navigated being a single mom. You navigated dropping back into the dating scene again. Find somebody who has navigated the season of life you are in now and ask them for your map. Now, you say, well, that sounds complicated and I don't know anybody. I'll talk about that in just a minute. I'm telling you, this is one of the smartest, most common sense, wisest things that I ever did. My whole life, and somebody taught me this early in life, find somebody who is where you want to be and ask them how they got there. Find somebody who is where you want to be, ask them how they got there. And all of you can do this, and I'll tell you the trick. Here's the trick. First of all, never ever ask anyone to mentor you. Never do that. Never, because a mentor sounds like a homework assignment. It's like, no, I don't have time for that. Here's the trick, and don't tell anybody I told you this. What you need to do when you discover someone, and I'm going to give you some ideas about how in a minute. When you find someone or you notice somebody at work, somebody at church, somebody in the gym, somebody in your community, and you're like, you know what? That they got through this season and they got to that season and I like where they ended up. I want to see their map. Here's the trick. You email them or you text them or you talk to them depending on the nature of the relationship and you say this, hey, if I bought you coffee or if I bought you breakfast, I bought you lunch, I'd just like to ask you 3 questions. Hey, if I bought you coffee, if I bought you breakfast, hey, Look, I'm not trying to be your best friend, but I just have 3 questions that I know you have the answer to. Would you just meet with me just one time and just answer 3 questions? Most people will say yes. You say, Andy, what are the 3 questions? I don't know. You got to come up. I don't know what 3 questions are. But here's what you don't say. You don't say, hey, can I ask you some questions? That's like, no, you cannot ask me. No, it's like, I've thought it through. There's just 3 things. I've watched you. I'm convinced you have the answer to these 3 things. I just want to meet one time. Will you answer my 3 questions? I'm telling you, most people will give you that much time. And what you learn when you have 3 carefully crafted questions about how do I navigate now to get to where I want to be, I'm telling you, you will learn so much from so many people. And then sometimes at the end of the coffee, or you're paying, then you say, hey, would it be okay if in the future sometime I reached out and if I had some more questions, and most of them will say yes. And you just got yourself a mentor, but don't tell them, it will scare them off, okay? But I'm telling you, at every season of life, I've been so fortunate to just look ahead. When Sandra and I got married, older couple. Before we had kids, people with kids. When I was, single, I got married when I was 30. So just navigating all those years, finding people who are just a little bit ahead and asking them just 2 or 3 questions. You should find somebody who is where you want to be and get a copy of their map. And I know you know this, but again, common sense. Wisdom is not having all the answers. Wisdom is knowing what you don't know and having the humility to ask someone who does. That's what wisdom is. Wisdom isn't, I'm so wise, I know everything. Wisdom is, I'm so wise, I know what I don't know. And instead of trying to figure it out, because, hey, learning things the hard way is hard, and life is a brutal teacher in some arenas, right? So wisdom is, I know what I don't know. I'm not going to be too proud to ask, and I'm not knocking your friends, your peers, the people who are in the same season of life that you're in, I mean, they don't know any more than you do. So you're just kind of sharing a little bit of your ignorance, but to find someone who is where you want to be and to get their map, that is the wise thing to do.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you check out the links on your screen for what to watch next, and check out the description below, where we are going to provide you with free resources designed to help you make better decisions and live with fewer regrets. And again, thanks for watching.